Hi everyone, this is Holden, and today I'm going to be talking about differing sexualities amongst trans people. So before I get into my own situation and my own sexuality, I'd like to give you a little hypothetical situation to maybe dispel some myths or answer some possibly offensive questions that you have. So the situation is that there is a trans man who is gay. So for some of you, this might be totally normal or totally understandable. But if you're still learning about gender and sexuality, this might be really new for you. It might be maybe strange for you. So this means that you probably have some internalized homophobia or transphobia. That's okay. All of us do. So let's just take a look at it and see where that is in you. So an offensive question that you might be thinking or that you might have heard at some point is, but if he wanted to date men, then he should have stayed a woman. That's one, kind of dangerous to say that a trans person ever was a different gender than they currently are, and is also very rude. Many trans people feel that they never identified with the gender that they were assigned at birth. So don't ever say that a trans man was a woman, and don't ever say that a trans woman was a man. It's not necessarily correct. It might be in some cases, but it's a person-on-person basis, so you really need to know the person before you make an assumption like that. For example, I say pretty openly that I identified as a woman, and so it's okay to say that I was a woman, because that's true for me, but it's definitely not true for everyone. So get to know them first. Second question, but aren't gay men all afraid of vaginas? Once again, you're making an assumption about this trans person. You're assuming that they have a particular set of genitalia, which may or may not be true. In any case, it's offensive and rude to assume something about someone else's body, especially a trans person's genitalia. So don't do it. Also, you're assuming that gay men are only attracted to genitalia, not to people, which is also kind of offensive. Not only for gay men, but for all sexualities, to assume, for example, that a straight woman wouldn't be attracted to a trans man because he may or may not have a penis. First of all, you don't know what that trans man's genitalia looks like. And also, straight women are attracted to men, so if the trans man is a man and you have gotten over your internalized transphobia about calling a trans man a man and believing that he is a man, then you shouldn't have a problem with a straight woman being attracted to a trans man or a gay man being attracted to a trans man. Also, I can tell you from personal experience that gay men are much more likely to be attracted to a trans man than, for example, a lesbian being attracted to a trans man. That might seem obvious to some of you, but it might make some of you think a little bit, because if people were attracted to genitalia, and I openly say that I have a vagina, so I don't mind talking about this, then lesbians should be attracted to me / my vagina. But they're not, because they're attracted to women, so actually it's much more likely that a lesbian will be attracted to a trans woman because she's a woman. So it's actually very simple. It's just based on how a person identifies. So a few things that you've learned are that genitalia have nothing to do with identity, and a trans man or a trans woman can identify as gay, straight, or something else. And we haven't even gotten into non-binary or agender identities, so that's a whole other kettle of fish. Well, I'll do in another video. So a little bit about me. I identify as trans with an asterisk, and non-binary, and queer. So trans is basically an umbrella term for all not cisgender identities. Non-binary basically means I don't identify with being a man or a woman, although I do use he, him pronouns. Queer also just means that I am not straight. Practically, you could call me pansexual or bisexual, but I really prefer the term queer. I'm not comfortable with any other term. So some questions you might have for me. So if you're queer, what does that actually mean? So who are you attracted to? For me, this basically means I'm attracted to everybody, regardless of gender. You could be a trans woman, a cisgender woman, trans man, cisgender man, agender, non-binary, doesn't matter. Another question you might have is, who's attracted to me? Also, that can be really anybody, kind of like what we were talking about before. Anybody who's attracted to non-binary transmasculine people, or also anyone who's attracted to men as well. I don't identify as a man, but someone who's attracted to masculine bodies who look like me could be attracted to me. It doesn't matter what your identity is, you can be attracted to anybody. And you can still identify however you want. So another question that you might have is, but if you're with a woman, then that means that you're straight. No, because I'm non-binary. Although I am masculine, I use he, him pronouns. I would never say that any relationship that I'm in would ever be straight. It will always be kind of queer, even if I'm with a cisgender woman, or even if it looks straight on the outside. So thanks so much for watching, and make sure to like the video and subscribe and do all of the good stuff. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'd also encourage you to go to my Patreon page. I just launched it recently, and I'm really excited about the support I'm already getting and about the community that I'm building. So go over there and you can support me as an activist and an artist. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'd also encourage you to share your experiences about anything I talk about. So see you next time.